Hi everybody and big welcome to a cEDH TV gameplay, or to be more specific, we're going to do a bracket-free, kinda competitive, so to say. So if you don't know, the Wizards of the Coast have made 5 different brackets, which are close to something of you could call 3 different formats, and we're going to try to see what is the best possible thing to do in bracket number 3, because we kind of want to see what happens when you power down the power level, so all of us are playing somewhat of the same power level or following the same kind of deck building construction, so to say. So let's see how it goes, and let's see if it's fun. Just trying it out for now. So I'm playing cEDH, and as you can read here, cEDH competitive bracket 3, so it's honest, like this is not supposed to go up against other bracket 3 decks, so to say. So with powering down, we have lost a lot of really key important cards, which have moved me more towards the old school Oath of the Fairy and Nicobolas Aminatu, basically Super Friends cEDH Planeswalker combo, which is something a lot of other people are doing, but I have steered a little bit away from it. When it comes to the 2-card combo in bracket 3, Aminatu and Nicobolas are actually going infinite, but they are just sitting there flickering themselves, so nothing actually happens unless you have an outlet, which Oath of the Fairy is. So the 2-card combo is a little bit obscured, but we're trying to understand it ourselves. For example, I have a 1-card combo inside this build with Treachery, and this comes into play with untap 5 lands, which gonna make a cEDH activation, and with Aminatu I can flicker Treachery. However, Treachery requires a total land count of 5, so it's a little bit of a later stage combo, and I actually don't have a single tutor inside this build that can find Treachery, so it's something I have to draw into. Overall, this deck is going to be a little bit more towards the mid-range concept. We're going to sit and activate cEDH, interacting with opponents, potentially finding something like an Ashiok when someone is searching, finding a Duck Faden to steal potentially a cool artifact, or maybe just find a Lavinia to slow down the game. Once we have established a little bit more control, we might start to activate our way forward to find the Planeswalker combo and win that way. Now we do have the Revi and Emil the Blessed, which could also happen a little bit faster if we also get our hands on a Gaia's Cradle.
Today I'm playing Najila in CB3 bracket, and this deck is actually for Memo. I hope I will make you proud, good sir. Memo is one of the greatest Najila players in my opinion. We have adjusted a little bit to bracket 3, so all the good stuff, or the best of the good stuff, is kind of scaled, so we have a little bit a limit of what we can play. So I decided to do Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor, and Fierce Guardianship for some protection. But we do have some 2 cards combination with Najila, the Revi, and the Grim Hireling. They are kinda a 2 combo card together, so we will play them at turn 6, which bracket 3 is mostly aim to do 2-card combos with. But we have some other ways to have more combo cards potential, like having a Professional Fatebreaker together with something like Warren Soul Trader, Mondrak, so we can create more tokens, getting more treasures, and in that way activating Najila for that infinite combat.
Okay, so you know what's funny about this T3 is this is kind of like where my jank deck lists tend to be. Like, if you know me, if you see me on this channel, I usually play like subpar commanders. So I'm excited to give this a whirl. The 3 game changers I have in this are Ristic Study, Cyclonic Rift, and Force of Will. But I liked having this 4-color package because there's still a ton of powerful cards among those that are not listed as game changers. So, you know, we have things like Silence and Submerge, I mean, Finale Devastation, Eldritch Evolution, Worldly Tutor, Tooth and Nail, you know, all these things that kind of come in later games. Fetch up something like Atali and Displacer Kitten.
So looking at these rules, I realized that they don't really hit Razaketh at all. Razaketh got a bit nerfed by the bans a while ago, but this doesn't really hit him. None of the cards that you use to cheat out Razaketh from Dargo are game changers for some reason. So Ikria Dargo, the best deck at cheating out Razaketh in the format, still cheats out Razaketh really easily. Yeah, that's the route I went. This is a bit worse of a deck because you lost some of the fast mana, but like you have green, and it's like one of the best green decks in the formats because 3 dorks make 2 extra mana, counting for Dargo. Yeah, this deck should be still really fast and really strong. You have no Nas, but I added Pita because Dargo decks can cast Pita. Let's just storm early and win.
So normally on this channel we usually do mulligans, but because the intro was so long about what we were playing and how we were thinking regarding the bracket free system kinda, so we're skipping the mulligans, but as you can see, you'll still see all the cards we have have in our hand throughout the match. It will probably be a little bit of a longer post-game talk about the bracket system from all 4 of us. But now, let's start the match. Pontus, fire off.
I'll draw for turn. I'll shock in a Stomping Ground, taking 2 and tapping it for a Ragavan, and then passing the turn.
Go to my turn. Draw a card. Plateau, and I'll pass.
Taking my turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play this Mr. Rainforest. I will lose a life, fetch for Bayou. Exiling a Simian Spirit Guide. Tap Bayou for 1 black to cast Dark Ritual. Turn 1 Nagila. I will pass my turn.
Draw a card. I'm gonna shock into play an Overgrown Tomb, tap it for 1, actually doesn't matter in this case, because both will generate the mana I need from my Deathrite Shaman. Pass.
Go to my turn. I will go straight to combat and swing at Jewel for 2.
I will definitely not block.
Makes sense.
You exile 1 Green Sun Zenith. Congratulations.
So I'll make a treasure as well, and then in post-card main phase, I will play a Bloodstained Mire and fetch. Finding a Badlands, tapping 2 for a Talisman of Resilience. Then I'll tap the Talisman for colorless and sack the treasure for a green to cast the Green Sun Zenith XS1. And with the Green Sun Zenith, I will find a Gilded Goose, which will ETB and make a food token. And then I pass.
Take my turn. Land for turn will be an Exotic Orchard. I'm gonna pass.
Taking my turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm gonna play this Verdant Catacomb. And then we have some combat to do. There was someone who hit me. I will hit him back. Attacking with Nagila, triggering Nagila. I will add a warrior. Since you have a blocker for the warrior, I think I will send it at you, Rhetoric. I'm sorry.
I'm not blocking Nagila. Take 3.
Before blocks, I will tap 2 for an Archivist of Ogma.
You had that. I was thinking of it, but like, nah, Rhetoric, you don't play that.
It's even good in this this tier. So yeah, flash.
Definitely.
2/2. I'll block your warrior.
I will actually respond to you casting that Ogma. I will fetch and respond. And then, sadly, this poor little warrior who had done nothing wrong. Passing my turn.
Untap and draw a card. I'm gonna play this Plato, tapping that for a Soul Ring, and then I'm passing the turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be a Shifting Woodlands, which will come in untapped because I control a forest. I will go to combat and swing Ragavan at Jewel.
No blocks. Exiling Brumblewood Paragon.
I can't relate to playing bad cards in my deck. bad decks I do play. Making a treasure. In post-combat, I'll cast a Mox Amber. I'll take a damage to my Talisman of Resilience to cast a Besiege the Mirror, sacrificing the Mox Amber. 2 bargain cost. Besiege the Mirror resolves. I will search up a Pattern of Rebirth and put it on my Goose.
Show your Fierce Guardianship.
I have no counters, so pattern goes. So turn 1 Nagila and the Fierce, that's a real high roll, but he had mana, so it's not unreasonable for him to have interaction. But that's my turn, and I'll pass.
Take my turn. We will do this Taiga, and then we'll play not very high rolling, but still, we'll play a card. It's called Harsh Mentor. Harsh Mentor resolves. Let's move to combat. I will send Archivist at Mons.
I take 2.
And then I pass.
Taking my turn. Untap. Upkeep, draw. I will play this Tarnished Citadel. After that, I will pay 3 mana to cast this Devilish Wallet. I think it's Wallet. Devilish Valet. It has Trample and Haste, and it has Alliance. Whenever another creature entering the battlefield under your control, double Devilish Valet's power until the end of turn. So sad you blocked my warrior last turn.
I have a response to that thing.
Scary.
I'm going to exile a land from your graveyard, Pontus, with my Deathrite Shaman for a blue mana, black here, and 2 colorless to cast a Ertai Resurrected. And I want to destroy your Nagila with this.
Oh, Nagila is destroyed, sadly.
And you get to draw a card.
So I draw a card. I will sadly pass my turn.
I will go to my turn and draw a card. I'm going to cast a Bloom Tender. Then I'm going to exile a land, and then 1 white mana and use the last floating colorless to cast Sisei. And I'm gonna punch Pontus with Airtie for 3 total damage.
No blocks, take 3.
And I pass.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be a Gemstone Caverns. Then I will move to combat, and I will hit Rhetoric for 2.
No blocks, take 2. And I exile a Talisman of Creativity.
I make a treasure, and I will cast that talisman. And with that talisman in play, I'll just pass.
Gemstone Caverns as land for turn. Tap 2. Very rest in peace. Our graveyards have rested in peace. I pass. Go ahead.
I'm so glad I'm not on breach right now. Play this volcanic island and I will just pass my turn.
Draw a card! I'm gonna play this land drop. This is actually a really good land right now because I have this thing called Soldering that taps for 2 colors, but with this Shadowblood Ridge I can convert that into Rakdos mana, which is gonna help me activate cEDH. We're gonna tap Bloom Tender for everything but red mana, but then with Plato we get that red. And I'm going to activate cEDH.
I'll respond. I will tap a red to Lightning Bolt Ertai.
I have no response to this. Ertai is dead and sent to exile because of Rest in Peace. And cEDH goes down to a 2/2. I'm going to find Oath of Nissa with my cEDH, and I get to look at 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to choose reveal a volcanic island that goes to my hand, while the other goes to the bottom of my library. Then I'm going to cast a Amenatu, and because of Oath of Nissa, I can tap Soldering and this Shadowblood Ridge. It doesn't matter, I can make colorless mana to cast my Planeswalkers. I'm going to minus Amenatu to flicker my Oath of Nissa to make another ETB effect, draw 1, 2, 3 cards. I'm going to reveal and take Ashiok Dream Render to my hand and put the other 2 at the bottom of my library. cEDH is now a 6/6 and I pass.
In your end step, I'll take 2 damage to create the food token with Gilded Goose. Then I'll go to my turn. Go immediately to combat, and the only one that might not block is Rhetoric. So here's Ragavan.
No blocks.
Make a treasure.
Ragavan hitting a land, that's sad.
I will tap Gilded Goose to sacrifice my food for a red mana, sure. Sack 2 treasures for green and black. Use the red to cast a Dargo. With Dargo in play, I'll tap 3 more mana to cast my partner Ikra using the green and black floating. And that's where my hand is at. So I'll pass. So my turn is over, but there's something I want to address because I've been thinking about addressing it since I did it. I just forgot. When I casted that Beseeching Mirror, the reason I got stopped was largely a skill issue. Not necessarily because Mon still had Ertai, but there's no world where you actually get Pattern of Rebirth in that board state. You have Shifting Woodlands in play. You always get at least Birthing Pod, maybe even Necro. I think Pattern is like the worst alternative with Shifting Woodlands live in play. So as I said, Mons had Ertai, so I don't think I ever get it off anyways, and then I got Rest in Peace. So in the end, not much difference. I guess you would still have the Devil's Relay Najila combo, even though I have like Slaughter Pact, Lightning Bolt for it. I actually think Mons comes out better from me playing correctly there. But just keep that in mind. Like, Pattern is the best way to enable Razaketh in this deck. But just keep that in mind when you play this deck. Don't be like me. Fetch the right wing con, and then maybe get stopped anyways. We're here now. We're in the Bangta zone. I'm just a top deck from winning. Like, I can top deck any payoff and probably win.
I will take my turn, draw a card, do a Mana Confluence, for taking 1 damage, and I'll cast my commander, Aragorn. And then with that, I'll pass.
Taking my turn. This is hilarious. I will play this City of Brass. Play this Najila. I will sadly pass again.
Untap and draw a card. I'm going to begin by minus Amenatu to flicker Oath of Nissa again. So look at the top 3, and I'm gonna reveal a Dark Water Catacomb that goes to my hand, while this one, bottom of library, and this one to the bottom of library. And I'm gonna play the Dark Water Catacomb. And now I'm going to reveal the true power of these amazing lands. I'm gonna tap Sol Ring to generate a black and red, and then a black and blue. With this, I'm then going to white and green, and I'm going to be floating 1 black mana in the end, activating cEDH. cEDH's ability resolves. Archivist of Ogma is gonna draw a card. I'm gonna take 2 damage from the Harsh Mentor, and I'm gonna find Nicobolas the Dragon God. So now with Nicobolas Dragon God in play, I have red mana. This means that this Bloom Tender is gonna tap for 1 each, and with 1 mana of each, I can immediately sink that into activating cEDH again, taking 2 damage from the Harsh Mentor, and I'm going to find Oath of Teferi. This allows me to activate Planeswalkers twice. On the ETB, if everything just screws up, I'm actually going to exile Oath of Nissa, because I don't actually need it right now. So Oath of Nissa will go away, and if this turn fails, Oath of Nissa will come back and I will gain some small value.
Fierce Guardianship that. Oh, Fierce Guardianship. Sorry, deflect this what? I am Fun Police Najila, apparently.
Serious?
So I will target your Nicol Bolas instead.
When Oath of Teferi enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent you control. I have to do this, it's not even a May. I have to put it onto the stack. This is so weird.
It comes back at his end step, so we have 1 turn.
I'm utterly stunned how annoying that is. I guess I should have activated Nicobola's +1 ability first, but I didn't expect this, so here we are. Bolas goes away into exile, and we are going to +1 Aminatu to draw a card and put this one back at the top. The reason I'm allowed to do that is because of Oath of the Fairy allows me to activate Aminatu a second time. So we're going to go back to our turn at the end step, and Nicobolas returns. And why, Newell? This was an epic win. In any case, I pass.
Kill his planeswalkers.
Go to my turn, surprisingly. Taking a damage to cast a Culling Ritual.
I will show you a Force of Negation pitching Cycroft.
Culling Ritual is exiled and countered. Tap 3 to cast Eldritch Evolution, sacrificing Dargo. Eldritch Evolution resolves. Because I don't want to do math, because math is not based. Cursed. Thank you. I will actually, controversially, slaughter back the Harshmentor.
No response to that. Yes.
I'll cast a Lionside Diamond. Crack it for 3 red. I would like to sacrifice Gilded Goose to Razaketh, losing 2 life. Put this card into my hand, and then I'll use my 3 floating red mana to cast the Bergi. With Bergi in play, I'll sacrifice my Ragavan to Razaketh, losing 2 life. Finding this card, and you draw a card. Then I'm casting a Lotus Battle, trigger Bergi. I'll make a red, and then I'll crack the Lotus Battle, float another red, use one of them to cast a Dargo, trigger Bergi. I will make a red, and sacrifice Dargo to Razaketh, losing 2 life. I'll get this card, return to as a card, and I will cast a Mox Opal, trigger Bergi. Make a red, use that red to cast a Dargo, trigger Bergi. Sacrifice Dargo, lose 2 life. Finding this card, and Rhetoric gets to draw a card.
Yay.
I'll use 1 red to recast Dargo, trigger Bergi. Make a red, use 2 red, cast a defense grid.
No. I will Mind Break Trap.
So you Mind Break Trap my defense grid in response to my Bergi trigger, and I will respond to Mind Break Trap by sacrificing Dargo to Razaketh, losing 2 life. I'll find this card, Rhetoric will draw a card, hopefully this last card before he can't interact anymore, but I'll use the red floating to cast a red Elemental Blast, triggering Bergi, targeting the Mind Break Trap.
This is getting a little wild, so we're gonna sacrifice Aragorn and cast a Flare of Duplication. I would like to target my Mind Break Trap.
Create a copy of Mind Break Trap, exiling the D-grid, then my red blast actually resolves, but it doesn't actually matter, because they still get exiled everything. And then we're back, and I get 2 Bergi trigger mana back. I'll use one of them to cast a Dargo. I'll get 1 back, I'll sacrifice Dargo, paying 2 life. I'll find this card, and Rhetoric gets to draw a card. I'll use 1 red to recast a Dargo.
Woo! I like this game. Okay, I'm going to exile Sierra Ascendant, and I'm going to cast Solitude.
No response to Solitude cast.
I will target Bergi.
You will target Bergi in response to my Bergi trigger, and that is overall pretty rude. I will respond to the Solitude ETB trigger and sacrifice Bergi to Razaketh. I'll find this card, Rhetoric gets a draw card, and then I would like to resolve the stack. Solitude ETBs and Fizzles, then it ETB and sacrifice itself. I get my red from Bergi, and Dargo resolves. I will tap my Mox Opal, use my 2 floating to cast a Relic of Legends. Relic of Legends resolves, and I will tap it and Dargo for 2 mana, both red, to cast this here Goblin Bombardment. Goblin Bombardment resolves, and from here I can present a loop. I'll sacrifice Dargo to ping someone for 1. I'll tap Ikra for a red to recast Dargo. Then I'll tap him to go to Relic of Legends, because it says tap an untapped legendary. They don't need to be able to have haste or anything. It's just tap him. And sack him to Goblin Bombardment to ping someone. Use the floating red to recast the Dargo, and just repeat this to ping everyone for infinite damage. Yeah, that's game. Good game.
I am still extremely tilted about losing to my own card, how deflecting SWAT can interact with it. That is so annoying. It's weird to have like infinite on board and pass turn with it, but here we are. Well. That was honestly, I mean, if you actually take a look at the speed of this format, it's not that far off.
No.
If you actually ignore how we powered down, we self-regulated more or less. If you would skip that, the format is still definitely around turn 3-4, I would say. It's just some of those, like Adnos is definitely gone. Necropotence is nerfed because you can't play Chromox and Mox Diamonds and such, so that's gonna hurt it a little bit. If you're going to optimize this into like a true competitive, you have have to kind of throw out entire no 2-card combos during a certain area because it's too...
It's too vague.
Yeah, too vague, thank you.
One thing that crossed my mind about this format is, according to the current game changer cards, there is a really less cards for both red and green. I think those colors are really benefiting from this bracket.
Yeah, especially green.
Yeah, it's so strong with all this 1-mana ramp and everything. Like, Najila can come out turn 2 so easily, and other decks like your Ikra and Dargo, like, it has all the ramp in the world and doesn't even care about 0 artifact stuff.
Well, it does. The 0-mana stuff is still the most broken stuff to be doing. When you can't do the most broken, dorks are like the second most broken when you don't have the most broken. I don't think green needs to be balanced in casual. I think in casual, green is like one of the best colors. It's just in cEDH, it's falling behind. In that regard, there should actually be more green cards on the game change list to like nerf green casually. The problem is that the brackets aren't like strict rules in reality. It's more like a social guidance. It doesn't stop bad actors, and that's a problem.
But here's the thing, like bad actors, it's very hard to not be a bad actor, because the moment you accidentally have something that is legally inside bracket free, but it's so much stronger than someone else bracket free. Let's say we have 3 different casual people, and they all have pretty casual bracket free positions, but they are all very spread between each other. So the person in the middle is gonna be a bad actor to the weakest deck, and the person who is on top is gonna be a bad actor to the other 2. But the person in the middle, he's gonna compare to the strongest version of the bracket free and say, no, I'm not a bad actor, to the person in the lowest end of the bracket free. And that's like the problem. The spread in the bracket is so big that I think it's gonna be hard to communicate with it too. And that's what I meant. I'm not saying that you could accidentally build cEDH decks inside bracket free. I just think that you could accidentally build really good decks and appear like a bad actor. In any case, we hope you enjoyed this little pilot game of the bracket free, trying to test it competitive. We didn't take it to the ultimate level, what you can do with it, but we also speculate that there's going to be more game changer cards eventually over time, so maybe that was a correct call anyways. We will be back next week with some normal, typical cEDH battles as usual. Until then, take care everybody, see ya.
Take care.
Bye-bye.